Randy, tell me about the movement that's going on in the world, really, towards more healthier food. What are you seeing and what do you know about that?
Well, statistically, it's growing by double digits over the past 2 decades, the organic space whereby consumers are desiring to have products that are, to their knowledge, is we call clean food, free of pesticide, free of herbicide, free of toxic elements to the food. And so the movement, there's many streams that are converging into what is now being called regenerative agriculture, which is both, goes to two things: nutrient density in the food ingredient, as well as the animals that come from it, and the dynamic side of regenerative agriculture as it relates to the land, and is sustainable for hundreds of years without inputs. And so what this means is we can actually heal the land. Like part of my research put me in touch with a book called Drawdown, and in it they combined 100 or 200 of the brightest minds to comb the research that already exists, and out of it they came up with 100 steps or measures that they could implement that would bring carbon emissions back down into the soil and bring us back from the global warming that's just such a concern. And so this regenerative agricultural model, and then also in my business plan, 11 out of the top 23 measures are right there on the list. And what that means is that this is a very hopeful pathway for the future, for not only healthier and people who feel better, but it ultimately will be healthier for our planet and for ecology and economy, because there's profitability for the producers in this model where the commodity farmers are just barely kept alive by government subsidies.
There's a lot of that going on. Sure. Do you anticipate, or do you see, and I'm guessing yes, fights from corporate America?
They say historically that any new upstart venture, when it hits the threshold of 10%, that's when the corporate pushback is going to come. The organic space is moving from 2 to 3% of the whole of the food market. And so what we're going to be seeing within the decade is there's going to be a tremendous convergence of forces trying to seize the day. And already I have people close to the situation that already we see the rebranding of corporate, like McDonald's is trying to rebrand itself as a healthy place to eat.
Yeah.
And so on. And that McDonald's is also researching they're the largest purchaser of beef in America, and they're researching grass-finished beef as for their business model, because that food product is actually sustainable, it's healthy for the eater, and it's the end game is better for everything.
That's good then on their part.
It is. And the other big story was Campbell's Soup has rebranded itself back to what it was originally. Originally, soup had 7 ingredients, and then the industrialization of that product took it up to where there was 25 to 30 different ingredients in the list, and many of them nobody knew what they were.
Yeah.
But now they're going back to simple things like, and because it's being driven by the consumer.
Well, and you're right there, I would say, would you say the beginning? How long has the organic movement been going on? I mean, to any great extent.
Well, in its infancy, it's been going on for a few decades, but it's now growing into its own, and a lot of what I would speak to the public about would be going beyond organic to literally knowing your food and knowing your farmer and the methods that they use, and buying from trusted places. Because even the big conglomerates are trying to come out with all kinds of new speak, so that they try to cover their bases with the public, all natural, all kinds of terminology to say that it's a good product for the public to take in.
Let's come back home a bit. The diner. What percentage of your menu here at the Dix Avenue Diner is of the healthy food, the kind of food you're talking about?
Well, we are a big breakfast. Percentage of our whole is breakfast, and our main ingredient for breakfast is eggs. And all of our eggs that we put out the window for cooked eggs come from chickens that are out on grass.
Okay.
That's the target.
Grass-fed.
And so the nutritional profile of that egg is radically different, and people every day say, what are you doing to make eggs taste this good? And it's just a natural thing that occurs when chickens are allowed out in a natural environment, eating bugs and worms, and that expresses itself in the quality of the nutrition of the food. So beyond that, our other core food would be grass-finished beef. We're sourcing that currently from Big Picture Beef.
Right.
And then we're also getting some grass-fed turkey, whole turkeys that we cook off. We make bone broth from.
Okay.
And so those are our main ingredients right now. We have some organic milk that we sell. So, and maple syrup, of course, is a natural product that's locally grown.
Right.
So, and what may not be like full, what we may call organic or local, may come from a local provider. Like there's a sausage producer in Saratoga that we source our sausage from, Perillo's, and we source from another local meat provider. And so we're attempting to get more and more local products. Our bread comes from a local bakery. Right. And so that's really our target, is if we can't get organic, or if we try to get as much locally to support the local economy.
That makes perfect sense. And once that word gets around, which it has gotten around.
Oh, yeah.
And you're pretty much packed house most mornings, you'd say?
Well, Saturdays is our big day. And then the other days, we're growing. Yeah. And we don't have a huge footprint out there in the social media, and we're attempting to address it with these videos and create content, create interest beyond the word of mouth. Word of mouth is phenomenal, but and I'm very happy at the rate that we're growing.
Good.
But we would love to be able to have people come and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you have to wait a while before you can even get a seat because there's so many people want food here."
That's what you want. That's what you really want.
Yeah, we have diners every week that say, "We're not telling any of our friends about this place because we don't want to have to come and wait to eat here."
That's great. That's great. When did you open here? When did the diner actually open?
We've been open for, we started April 3rd. So, we're coming into our 8th month.
Yeah.
And
you had a good summer then.
Yeah. And we're working toward, expanding our hours and, growing at an appropriate scale.
You said you were open from Monday through Saturday, 5:30 to 3 p.m., 5:30 a.m. to 3 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. Well, that's good then. I know the first time I came here, you came over and I think it was my wife and I, came over and greeted us, said hi. You do that with pretty much everybody that comes in?
As much as my schedule allows me to, I love to interact with each guest, and with those that are comfortable. Sometimes our conversations can turn into 10, 15-minute chats where I really share the mission of why we're doing what we're doing, and that's often one of the things that's asked, well, why is a diner inside of a church building, and
Tell us about that.
why are you doing it, and so on. So, well, it's a simple thing. When I designed the building with the architect, we designed it around having a commercial kitchen that would be the equal to an Outback or Applebee's in size,
Yeah.
and ability to create and produce 300 meals easily. So we do have a large footprint for a kitchen. And then as this unfolded, we put beside that room a 500 square foot area or it's actually 625 square feet of space that we've now turned into a dining room that seats 45. Mm-hmm. And so we went into this with this sense of great mission to try to change the health outcome for so many people.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was it. And it's been working. Word is out, and you will continue to grow. And you said earlier in the segment it's very scalable, and you envision it at some point in the future being a large part of the area here.
Absolutely. I mean, there are multiple local farms that have, like the White Oak Pastures, they actually added a restaurant. And of course, when you have 118 employees, they like to eat lunch.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So that is a part of their being there, but then it's open to the public. And so it's a great front door to greet and get to know people. And that's the thing I enjoy the most, is meeting the community here. Mm-hmm. And when they hear what the mission is of the place, to try to help improve the health and wellness of people, and that food can do that, it just makes food friends. You know, people come because they hear we have delicious food, and we do. But when they go away while thinking much greater thoughts about the prospects of their health. Like, one of the most inspiring things I've found with the public, many people have given up hope in America that they could ever lose weight. And when I tell person after person within arm's length of me who's lost 50 pounds, several people right near me have lost 50 pounds, others have lost over 100 pounds, and they did it just by eating. Yeah. Not having to go to the gym for hours, endless amount of hours, just basic changes to what goes in the mouth.
That's it then. That's a lot of it. That's most of it. And what about all these diets, without getting into names and specifics?
We'll name names. We'll call them out.
Call them out? South Beach diet?
Yeah. Yeah, I try to touch the broadest spectrum, because there are people who believe that everybody should be a vegan or vegetarian, yeah, or everything from that to your low carbohydrate pathways, the keto diet, and so on. You know, the broadest message that I would appeal to every person that, Dr. Mark Hyman has tagged it the Pegan diet, that people should eat mostly a plant-based diet, and that 70% of the volume of their food should come from plants, 70% of their calories should come from fat, and that people should eat modest amounts of protein sourced from ocean-caught fish to grass-finished meats to organ meats. They're talking significantly about organ meat and its power to heal the body and so forth. So these are very dynamic principles, but as I would speak to the broader audience, it would be that people should eat large amounts of plant-based foods, not refined foods, whole plant foods.
Examples?
Well, instead of buying products that are refined, like I remember reading a book 40 plus years ago, and went home and talked to my mother about it, and she gave me the backhand for such things. I said we shouldn't eat refined sugar. You know, in the countries where they grow sugar cane, the workers would eat the sugar cane all day and never gained an ounce of weight because they ate the whole plant. And there was sweetness in the plant, but it was so full of fiber that the person, it was almost impossible to eat enough sugar cane to gain weight.
Wow.
Where today, you know, in one glass of juice of any type, there's massive amounts of sugar in juices. So, and who doesn't love juice? Yum.
Everybody does. Randy, we're going to wrap up at this point. It's been very fascinating speaking with you about this. I look forward to some more segments, and we'll get into some of your specialties that you have here that are healthy, things like the bone broth and anything else. Thank you very much. Randy Gross from the Dix Avenue Diner.
Signing off.
Signing off. That was good.
Thanks.